Hello, and welcome to the Compassionate Curiosity podcast, where we explore the messy, beautiful, challenging project of being human. And here we invite compassionate curiosity into every conversation, not to judge or fix, but to explore with openness and intention. Together, we dive into body image, food and movement patterns and behaviors, and the stories we tell ourselves about worth, acceptance, and identity. We share tips, tools, and reflections from lived experience to support and inspire your journey forward, guided by curiosity and grounded in compassion. I'm your host, Rachel from Tranquilo Pa Wellness, and I am a family nurse practitioner, a women's wellness coach, a yoga teacher, and a meditation and mindfulness teacher. And I specialize in supporting women and teens to reduce body insecurity and dissatisfaction, navigate body image struggles, and to go from self-criticism to feeling comfortable, confident, and empowered in their skin. And I am so excited to introduce today a new addition to the podcast called Quick Shifts with Compassionate Curiosity, which are short and sweet episodes designed to give you quick yet powerful insights, practical tools, and mindset shifts that you can take with you into your day. Because I know that sometimes, most times, many times, you don't have time for a long, deep dive conversation, but you still want something supportive, something that helps you check in with yourself, change old patterns, or feel just a little more at peace in your body right away. And so that's exactly what these mini episodes are here for. Quick, actionable wisdom to help you connect with yourself in a way that feels grounding and empowering. So whether you're listening on a walk, whether you're in the car, or while you're making your morning coffee or tea, I hope that these short episodes leave you with something meaningful to reflect on. And so before we dive into our first one in this series, I want to invite you to take a moment to take a conscious breath with me. This is a breath taken with full awareness, where you intentionally focus on the inhale and the exhale rather than breathing automatically. So, how do we do this? We pause, and if you're able to, gently close your eyes and inhale slowly through your nose, noticing the coolness of the air as it enters your nose, your belly expand, and then exhale gently through your nose, noticing the sensations of air leaving your body. And let's do one more of those. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes again. Thank you so much. And so today we're going to talk about the myth of motivation in the context of exercise and movement. So many of us have been taught that motivation is the key to consistent movement. But what if it's actually the biggest roadblock? The problem is that motivation comes and goes, and forcing movement often leads to burnout or resistance. And I think so many of us have been conditioned to believe that exercise requires willpower, or that we need to push through resistance to be consistent. But the problem is that motivation is fleeting. It changes based on our mood, stress levels, outside pressures. And so, what if instead of relying on motivation, we focused on building a relationship with movement that feels natural and enjoyable? So today we're going to break down why motivation isn't the answer, how to reframe movement as a form of self-care, and a simple 3-step process to start moving more intuitively. So why does motivation fail? Motivation is quite unreliable because, like I mentioned, it depends on and is affected by a lot of different things like our energy levels, stress, emotions. And one reason many people struggle with movement, I think, is that it's driven by extrinsic motivation instead of intrinsic motivation. We often tie movement to external pressures like weight loss or calorie burning or guilt rather than intrinsic enjoyment. And this leads to an all or nothing mindset. Like, if I can't do a full workout, I may as well do nothing. And so with extrinsic motivation, this is based on external rewards or pressures. So, for example, I have to work out because I need to lose weight. I should exercise so I don't feel guilty about eating. I need to burn off what I ate. Or I have to work out because I signed up for this challenge. Whereas intrinsic motivation comes from within and is based on how movement makes you feel. So this could be like, I want to move because it helps me feel less stressed. Or I love how I feel after stretching in the morning. Or going for a walk helps me reset. Or dancing makes me feel more connected to my body. And so when movement is based on intrinsic motivation, it becomes something you actually want to do, not something that you feel forced to do. And so if you've ever felt lost when it comes to movement, you are not alone. So many of us struggle with movement for so many different reasons. Maybe it's you don't know where to start, or you feel overwhelmed by rigid workout rules, or you've only ever known exercise as a means to an end, not as enjoyment, which I know for me was the case for many years. Or maybe you struggle to trust your body cues, or perhaps you think that movement has to look a certain way in order for it to quote unquote count. And so I want to go over with you a simple 3-step check-in process to help you start to build a movement practice that feels aligned with your body and not forced. So step number 1 is to ask yourself, what does my body need today? Before even choosing an activity, pause and check in with yourself and ask yourself, how am I feeling physically? What is my energy like? What would feel nourishing rather than depleting? And use this guide to match movement to that energy level. So, for example, if you're noticing, okay, I did the check in and I'm feeling pretty low energy, or I'm feeling stressed, maybe gentle stretching or gentle yoga or a light walk may feel best. Maybe you check in and you're like, I'm really restless, feeling kind of tense. Sometimes things like dancing or shaking or some sort of expressive movement can be really beneficial in those moments. And maybe you check in and you're like, I'm feeling energized and ready to go. Maybe something that is more focused around strength building or hiking or something more dynamic is what will feel good right now. The goal here is to listen to your body instead of external rules. Step 2 is choose something that feels enjoyable. So instead of asking, what workout should I do today? Try, what movement would feel good or fun? Movement doesn't have to be a structured workout. It can literally be dancing around your room to a song, your favorite song. It can be playing with your child or a pet. It could be taking a walk while listening to a podcast. It could be stretching in bed. Enjoyment leads to consistency. So when movement feels good, you naturally want to do more of it. Step 3 is reflect after moving. So once you've chosen and engaged in your movement, take 30 seconds afterwards to check in. How do I feel now? How do I feel physically and emotionally? Did this movement support me today? Would I do it again, or would I try something different next time? And these questions help to build body trust over time. You start recognizing what movement actually feels good instead of what you think you should do. And this is all to say that there's no one right way to move. Some days will be restful and other days will be more active, and that's okay. Consistency isn't about daily workouts. It's actually about returning to movement time and again in a way that feels sustainable. It's about reframing movement from obligation to joy, from punishment to self-care. And I think there's quite a big myth around good and bad workouts. So I think so many of us feel like movement doesn't count unless it's intense, long, or burns calories. But the truth is that any movement is beneficial, and different types of movement serve different needs. A slow stretch is just as valid as a high energy workout. I mean, truly, the only bad workout really is the one that makes you feel miserable. And so, as we wrap up here, Motivation isn't necessary when movement is enjoyable. And so I invite you this week to try the 3-step check in and see how it shifts your relationship with movement. See what comes up. Trust your body, listen to what it needs, and allow movement to be a source of joy. And I'd also love to invite you to reflect on these few questions, which I would invite you to journal out if you are able to help build more awareness around this for you. Number 1 is, if there were no rules about exercise, how would I naturally want to move? 2, how did I move as a child before I learned to judge my body? 3, what types of movement make me feel good during or after? And the last one is, what's one movement practice that I can try this week that feels joyful and intuitive? And until next time, may you know that you are not alone. I am here with you. May you be guided by curiosity and grounded in compassion. Sending you love, light, and gratitude today and always.